They're gonna shield this, I think. This is gonna be kind of tight, not gonna lie. I don't think I win this. I need the damage there, though. The problem is, it's Dragon Breath too, that's the thing. Nah, it's gonna be tough. Wow, that's a weird team. That's what threw me off here. I was trying to figure out what's throwing me off. It's that this Charmer just in the lead just does work against this guy. Wait, what? Did they just give me a win con here? Wow. That's a surprise. Oh my gosh, they did. Wow, I was really going to lose that. Umbreon lead with a Sylveon and a Giratina in the back. What did they do against a Charm lead? That's so brutal. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I got a pretty fun team for you all for Open Ultra League. Ultra League Premier Classics, definitely a smaller meta, so it could get boring kind of quickly. So I decided to give a crack at Open Ultra League and see how the meta's looking these days. And I decided to run Greedent again, which is definitely one of my favorite mons to run in Ultra League. The team I'm running is a Talonflame with a Greedent and a Cresselia in the back. I typically safe swap the Cresselia. The two things that wall off Cresselia are really Talonflame and Registeel, especially if you're not running Future Sight. So ideally you draw out either of those two to make it a little bit easier for your Greedent in the back end. Before I get into battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. I will say that there aren't a ton of battles in this video, mainly because in the ELO range I'm in, most people aren't really playing Open Ultra League. However, this could be a little bit better on Go Battle Day, so if you are watching this video before then, best of luck. Hopefully you get some more battles, just because a lot less people tend to play Open Ultra when there's Premier Classic. But anyway, going against a pretty tough lead. A lot of Jelsons do not shield that first Brave Bird, so it's pretty safe to just go for it and swap out. And they actually catch a Grass Knot on a Scrafty, which is quite fine with me because the Moonblast does not one-shot the Scrafty, so you pretty much need to drop a Grass Knot anyway. I decided to swap back over to my Talon here. I guess I could have stayed in to win Switch, but I guess I really wanted this matchup here, so I am going to bring the Talon back in. I had a feeling, I guess, that the Crest had some play in the back end, and it looks like it does have a decent amount of play here against this Nidoqueen. So opponent does a great swap to catch my Cresselia here, and I am going to start farming away. Unfortunately, we CMP here. So luckily though, it's actually just Ice Beam. I honestly prefer Ice Beam variants of Jelsons when facing it with Greedents or things that hard check it like Mana Buzz over Bubble Beam, because that way you at least are still doing full damage, and usually in Ultra League that Ice Beam doesn't hit nearly as hard against most of Jelson's counters. So you could do, I don't know, I just prefer it in general over debuff. If I was debuffed here, these body slams would be doing much less, and come down to wire here. I do live the Poison Fang, and I do get off the body slam. Had I been debuffed, I might have not been able to take out the Nidoqueen there. I might have lost based on HP remaining. Alright, another tough lead. Especially with Scald, this could be a little bit dicey. I'm going to no shield just in case they're not running Scald and they're running Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch. Unfortunately, they are running Scald. So, they come in with a Scav, which is really weak to my Talonflame. So it's a good call by them, and this also does quite well against Cresselia. I am going to no shield the Mega Horn because I know I live it, and farming this down would be nice because I should be able to get to another Brave Bird against the Poliwrath if they no shield, but they actually decide to let it go, which is kind of interesting. Now, Poliwrath is definitely a tough one because I kind of run slightly ABA in some formats here because both Greedent and Talonflame are weak to the Poliwrath, so I had to swap to its only counter. But fortunately for me, Poliwrath isn't doing much damage with the Mud Shots, so I just need to watch out for the charge moves. I know I survived Dynamic Punch either way there, so I decided to let it go just in case it is a Scald, which it is. Unfortunately, I do get debuffed though. But I'm going to shield this one in case it's Dynamic Punch. At this point, it's going to put me quite low, and I have 2 shields, so why not use them? Just got to spam away here. Honestly, the spamming here is kind of nice because it helps wear down the switch timer. In Ultra League, you have a lot more play by keeping swapping back and forth on these mons. And my opponent is going to throw an Icicle Spear. I decided to try to farm it down, which might be kind of a bad decision. So they have a ton of energy on this Walrein. Obviously, a newer thing in the Ultra League meta since the last time around. They do get a Mud Shot through. Now I just need to survive the Mud Shot, and luckily the bulky Greedent does survive the Mud Shot, able to get off the back-to-back body slams to take out the Poliwrath. Alright, Giratina. I used to throw Brave Bird first every time, and in this clip I do as well. But something I realized is, out of all the Giratina leads I've faced so far with Talonflame lead, every single one of them shields. Because I think they're just tired of getting hit by Brave Bird. So I think it's almost safe to say you could probably bait with Flame Charge every time and still grab a shield. Now they go straight away to Alolan Ninetales, which is signaling to me that this is probably a double charm team. Giratina double charm is not uncommon in Ultra League, and yeah, it's quite strong. Unfortunately, I don't really get the alignment I wanted. Maybe I should have shielded that Weather Ball. Again, when you go against charm teams, you always have to consider how you use your shields. Even though I'm expecting another Charmer in the back, I'm figured Greedent could probably do some damage here, but what I probably should have been fighting for was really switch advantage, because I should be in a good spot. But they are throwing a move here, which makes me think that they probably just need some chip damage on this thing. They're not swapping out yet, which is kind of surprising. So I do end up landing a Crunch, and they get debuffed too. Kind of shocked they haven't swapped out yet, and now they come in with a Sylveon. Unfortunately, my Greedent is just quite low on health at this point. Had they insta-swapped to Sylveon, they probably would have been fine too. But yeah, it's just I'm already seeing my impending doom there. My Talonflame super low on health. Unfortunately, I do shield the Side Shock there, but I just don't have the alignment I need. So yeah, definitely watch out for those double charm teams. It's not unwinnable. You just kind of have to play it a little bit better than I did. Talonflame leads. These things are kind of tough. So my Cresselia moveset is walled off by Talon. So getting rid of Talon is very important. But also Greedent doesn't do great, especially against a boosted Talon. So you just got to play around with the baits or the calls there. Also make sure you take note of the opponent's CP compared to yours. I'm running a Hundo Talonflame, so I know that anything lower than mine in CP is usually going to lose CMP. So you can use that to your advantage. My opponent actually swaps in a Trev into my Talonflame, which is kind of odd. And then they do a great catch of my Body Slam onto their Talonflame. So I'm going to come with my Talonflame to suck up some damage here. And I'm going to no shield. What I really want is to grab their shield so I can land a Moonblast later. I am going to shield this, even though it's probably Power Punch, just to force them to drop their next shield. Making them think that it might be a Brave Bird, and then now I'm in the clear to throw a Moonblast, and my opponent is going to concede right there. Alright, Scrafty in lead. Scrafty, super bulky, and then they swap straight away to a Politoed here. Now, technically speaking, Cresselia is a little bit better against Politoed because you don't really have to worry about the charge moves nearly as much. You do have that super effective Grass Knot, whereas you're only doing super effective Bullet Seeds, which are non-stab from Greedent, and neutral stab Body Slams. So these moves from Politoed really do add up. Greedent does a lot better against Swampert, but against Politoed is going to struggle a little bit more. However, I decided to do this because I know that both my Cresselia and my Talonflame can beat their Scrafty. So as long as I grab their shields here, I feel pretty good. They can't really come in Scrafty into a loaded Cresselia here. Well, they might have to. Let's see what they do here. I do come in with Cresselia. I'm just going to farm this all the way down. Even if it's an Earthquake or Blizzard, I should be okay. And so they do go for the Weather Ball here. Go for another move. Let's see what it is. It ends up being an Earthquake. That's fine. Cresselia, one of the bulkiest mons in Ultra League. And they do come with the Scrafty, which is really solid for me. Then they actually come in Jellicent to catch the Grass Knots, which worked out perfectly. And then I'm going to go straight for this Brave Bird against this Jellicent. It's going to do a lot of damage. I'm actually probably going to shield this. No, I know shield it. Okay. But that's fine. I'm going to farm this down. This is just going to be a Bubble Beam. I guess I was worried about them baiting against my Talon. But now I have a shield still remaining for my Crest, and I'm going to drop the Moonblast to ensure I take out the Scrafty right there. Definitely a favorable lead for sure, but definitely ways to lose the matchup still if you don't play it well. All right, G-Fisk. Big fan of G-Fisk leads. G-Fisk technically beats both Cresselia and Greedent on even shields and energy. So anytime I can grab that out of the way early, that's always nice. And they actually do swap to their Toad right here. And I'm okay with this. They can't really mud-shot down this Cresselia. And Cresselia's Grass Knot's really add up against G-Fisk. If you shield those Earthquakes with Cresselia and you land a bunch of Grass Knots, it actually makes the matchup much closer than you would think, despite it being a Psychic type and G-Fisk being a Steel type. With one Cycle Cut advantage, you actually could beat G-Fisk in 2 shields if you end up shielding the Earthquakes. In most situations, depending on IVs. But okay, so it is going to be a double water team with G-Fisk in the lead, which is very solid for me because I do have the Greedent in the back for the Swampert. And like I said, Greedent does a little bit better against Swampert than it does against Politoed in my opinion because both of these are double super effective. This opponent actually goes Earthquake here, which is kind of interesting, which puts me in a much better spot than I would have anticipated. Had they just gone Hydro Cannon, they probably get to this next Hydro Cannon a little bit sooner. I ended up catching a Hydro Cannon on my Talonflame. I didn't expect him to actually throw it. I was hoping to snipe him down with the Flame Charge, but shields are down and they are going to concede right there. All right, and then now we're going against Alolan Ninetales, one of the best leads possible. And again, like I mentioned, my least favorite is really these Bubble Beams. I'd rather face Ice Beam any day because I don't get debuffed a ton. And but either way, very positive matchup. They can't really do too much besides throw Bubble Beams, so I'm just going to throw these Crunches as soon as possible. I could overfarm a little bit, but the thing is, I don't really want to be debuffed so much to the point where I can't do anything. So they do go for a Shadow Ball. It's less energy efficient than Bubble Beam to my knowledge, but it does do a little bit more damage despite it being double resisted. Alright, so at this point, I'm thinking, alright, I want the matchup with a Talon versus A9, although Cresselia still does okay. What I probably should have thought more about is that Jellicent Safe Swap, if it's a Lure Out Pokemon or not. And it might be, so let's see. And it is. So it's a Shadow Claw Giratina. Had I pivoted it out and gone to Cresselia, which also has a decent amount of play against the Ninetales, I probably would have got the Giratina out early. Then I could rematch my Greedent against the Giratina to really hardwall it. And then I get my Talonflame on their Ninetales. So we still have switch alignment here, but this is not nearly as clean of a matchup as Greedent versus Giratina would be. I do end up throwing a Moonblast here, which is quite nice. I do tank this Weather Ball, and I do come in with my Talon to tank the second Weather Ball. That's going to be fine. And then I don't really want to shield this Giratina here, although maybe I could have. And they actually have Ancient Power, which makes sense why they're throwing Dragon Claws against my Cresselia earlier. I do drop that for last Brave Bird. I do just need to get to this Moonblast. But it's Ultra League, and timers are always running out, and unfortunately, I could not get to Moonblast. Really well played by my opponent there for recognizing their win con. Anyway, like I mentioned, I don't have a ton of clips for this video just because I've had very few battles because I can't find opponents. But overall, it's a fun team, I think, and definitely something to switch up the Ultra League meta if you're not really feeling Premier Classic. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and best of luck if you decide to use this team. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video. Best of luck on Go Battle Day, best of luck on the rest of the season, and I'll catch you all next time.